sequence the end of the events in How Rabbit Lost His Tail, a Native American Pourquoi tale. Remember, pourquoi means why, and so the pourquoi tale is a tale that tells us, or a story that tells us about why something is the way it is. So let's look at the end of this story. "Owl, help me," cried Rabbit. "You can fly, so show me how." "I am sorry," said Owl. "Flying is only for birds. I might have taught you how to use your tail as a parachute, but you only wanted to show off." "Squirrel," cried Rabbit, "we are almost cousins. Can you teach me to climb down trees?" Squirrel smiled sadly and sang his own song to Rabbit. "Never would I dare. Can't you see it wouldn't be fair?" Rabbit had no choice. He closed his eyes and let go of the branch. Rabbit fell straight to the ground. As he fell, his long bushy tail snagged in a low branch. Rabbit, however, kept falling, and so his tail was pulled off. Rip! And that was left of his all that was left of his long bushy tail was a small stump of fluff. Now all rabbits have short tails. It reminds rabbits to be generous. Now rabbits are nice to their friends. They are never selfish or boastful. Okay, so let's see. We've got Rabbit at the beginning of the end of the story crying out for help. So Rabbit asks Owl here in the yellow how to help. So then we look over at the Post-it, and we can see that that's the first event that happens here. After Rabbit asks Owl for help, then Owl says no. So that's our pink Post-it. Let's look at the pink event. Here's Owl saying no. After Owl says no, Rabbit asks Squirrel. Let's look at the blue Post-it. Rabbit asks Squirrel for help. Now, after Rabbit asks Squirrel for help, next, Squirrel says no to Rabbit. You can see in the story, Squirrel is smiling sadly and singing his song, which is his way of saying no. Okay, after that, then Rabbit falls to the ground and his tail gets ripped off. So here we go. Rabbit falls to the ground and his tail rips off. And at the end, now that we're at the end, all rabbits have short tails and are nice to others. So you can see how in the story, each event happens one after another. It happens in order. The writer or the author tells us the events in the order they happened. If the story were not in sequence or not in order, it might sound like this. Today, rabbits have short tails. You can notice that was something that we heard, at the end of the story. Let me try that again. Highlight tool. There we go. So today, rabbits have short tails. That was actually the last event because Rabbit fell out of the tree and ripped off his tail. That was the 5th event. Rabbits are all nice to their friends now. So that was part of that 6th event. So you can see here that when I told the story not in sequence, yeah, it's true. It's true that today rabbits have short tails, and that's because when Rabbit fell out of the tree, its tail got ripped off, and so rabbits are all nice to their friends now. This is all true for this story, but it doesn't tell the story in sequence. When you tell the story in sequence, you hear the events from the beginning, what happened next, after that, next, after that, until the end.